Greetings everybody! So today I'm going to continue my adventure with the Tamarind pod. I'm still tired from last episode where I ate tamarind seeds and showed how you can eat tamarind seeds. Watch that if you didn't watch it. It took me a lot of time. But this is still going to take a lot of time, but not nearly as much. I'm going to make tamarind ketchup. Not tamarind sauce, mind you. Tamarind sauce is used similarly to ketchup, however, it contains different things. So I'm going to take elements from both recipes and combine them together and form a very delicious sauce baby. So recipes for tamarind will often call for quite a lot of garlic, and ketchup recipes call for like a 1 clove or 2. So I went with 2 cloves of garlic. Ginger. That's something that exists in both recipes as well. However, in ketchup, it has just a little bit, and in tamarind, it'll often have like an entire inch. So I went with the entire inch. So ketchup calls for onions, tamarind sauce does not. So what I decided to use are shallots. Shallots are not onions, they're not garlic, but they're a little bit more in the direction of an onion with a little bit of a garlicky bite. Tamarind sauce usually calls for jaggery, which is a palm sugar. Ketchup calls for brown sugar. I'm going with brown sugar. However, I'm putting 1 tablespoon rather than the usual 3 tablespoons because tamarind pulp is super sweet. I have 1/4 of a cup of apple cider vinegar. That comes from the ketchup, not from the tamarind. That usually doesn't have vinegar in it. The spices are going to be what really makes this unique. I have 2 allspice berries. That is something that will exist in ketchup recipes. I have 2 cloves. That exists in ketchup recipes as well. However, I doubled the amount. Usually only put 1 in. I put a pinch of cinnamon. That is something that will often be in both. I put 1/2 teaspoon of salt. However, I chose black salt. It is not normal salt. You would not want to use this like normal salt because this has a very sulfuric, eggy taste to it. This exists in tamarind sauce. It doesn't exist in ketchup. There's also 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper in here, which is twice as much as I usually would use for ketchup. There's 1/2 teaspoon of cumin seeds in here, which does not exist in ketchup, but is in tamarind sauce. And the weirdest thing is I have hing powder. And this exists in tamarind sauce. It does not exist in ketchup. And this will give it a very different, pungent flavor. It's almost like sulfuric and cheesy in a way, but it's its own unique thing. Pan, heat, dash of oil, shallots go in, garlic goes in, and ginger goes in. This is going to cook until the shallots start to break down a little bit and start to get translucent. Spices go in, and kick these around a little bit just so they wake up. Water. How much water was that? I don't know. Vinegar, brown sugar. So here's the tamarind. I removed the shells. I removed the seeds. You could just use a tamarind concentrate or tamarind paste. Just don't use tamarind sauce because that's kind of what you're making right now. So this all goes in. By the way, I don't know how much this is. It's probably about a cup if you were to pack it down. As you go along, this is probably going to thicken quite a lot because of this pulp in here. It's a very dense pulp. So as it thickens, add water to it. And you're going to cook this for 30 minutes. Keep your eye on it. Make sure that it doesn't burn. It doesn't dehydrate. You want to keep adding water. You want to keep mixing. So the heat that I'm using on this, I'm kind of going back and forth between low and medium. You don't want it to be too hot, but you don't want it to be too low. You just want it to kind of like bubble just a little bit. Yeah, that thickens up really fast. So I'm going to add some more water. It's been 30 minutes and look at that. It is thickened up nicely. Smells actually quite good. One thing to look out for though is make sure you don't have any tamarind seeds in here because that might break your blender. Now everybody's favorite part, straining. I'll just do a little bit at a time. Alright, so 45 minutes of trying to shove this crap through this thing, and I could probably keep going, but I give up. Like, that is a very thick mixture. I actually had to add a lot of water as I was going just to get it through, so if you actually want to do this, then I'd say add more water to it, make a thinner ketchup in the beginning, and if you gotta reduce it down or something, do that, because this sucked. But yeah, I ended up getting quite a lot of ketchup there, so let's go to the next step. Bottle, funnel, mind my mess. I've been doing this a long time, I'm not gonna clean up. And that goes in here. I probably should have tasted it, shouldn't I? Let's just give it a quick one, just in case it's terrible. No, that's good. Doesn't need a thing. This is going to go in the fridge overnight, and tomorrow we should have a finished product. Alright, we've got tamarind ketchup and a tamarind seed vada. So it's not the most appealing in color. Looks aren't what we're after here, we're after taste. So let's try that. Wow, that's got a punch to it. Now, tamarind sauce, by the way, most recipes call for just a couple of tablespoons of tamarind pulp. They don't call for like an entire cup of it. So this is very strong. It's much stronger than tamarind sauce that you get like with a samosa. That is mostly sugar with a little bit of tamarind in it. This is tamarind with a little bit of sugar added. It's good. It's definitely different than regular tamarind sauce. It's definitely different than tomato ketchup. The spices are what really make this. I'm getting a touch of that sulfuric taste. Cumin also, those flavors go really well together. And mixed with the sweetness and the tartness of the tamarind, it works. It works really well. Reminds me a little bit of those little tamarind candies that have like chili and salt on it. This is good. This is a good sauce. If I were to just take a regular tomato ketchup recipe and replace it with tamarind without adjusting everything, I don't think it would be as good. I think going with those flavors that are typically combined with tamarind makes this special. The flavor of tamarind, if you haven't had it, is like raisin and apple maybe. Something in that direction, but it's its own unique thing too. In here it tastes a little bit, reminds me a little bit of like apple butter, in the way that I have it here, like a savory apple butter. The tamarind ketchup, I can see making that again. The tamarind vada, to go with the tamarind ketchup, hell no. I hope you enjoyed watching what was several days for me, condensed down into 2 episodes. And yeah, I'm gonna go take a nap. Bye-bye. I want to give a special shout out to AltPod and Smarter Every Day. They are mega patrons over on patreon.com. Patreon is how this channel happens. It's how I can afford to do all the things that I do. So if you want to help me out by supporting the channel and getting some bonuses along the way, check out the description. I also have these shirts for sale. Those are in the description as well. See you next time. Bye.